Yeah, dude, this movie was fun.
Well, that was a movie.
Hello, welcome back to Simon's Rants. I'm Simon, this is Eric, and today we just were at the premiere of Big Shark, Tommy Wiseau's new movie. The plot is Tommy Wiseau and his two best friends, all are roommates, also firefighters, who are heroes because at the movie they save a couple of babies from a burning house. So that's their claim to fame when a giant 35-foot shark, the biggest shark ever put on screen, as we heard from Tommy, 5 feet bigger than Jaws, terrorizes the people of New Orleans. And so now they have to come up with a plan, talk about the plan,
talk about it some more,
come up with the plan again, decide if there is a shark, come up with a plan, play pool, reference the plan, drink a lot of alcohol.
The whole time, they're drunk the whole smoothie.
Say we gotta trust the plan, and then maybe kind of execute the plan at some point. And it was so enjoyable.
Yes.
Like, and seeing it with the crowd definitely helped, but it was legitimately a great experience. One of my favorite, like, that is at the top of my list of like favorite movie-going experiences of my life now. Especially, I mean, Tommy being there and everything. His Q&A was hilarious, and actually insightful. Somebody asked him, "What's the best piece of advice you ever got?" And he said it was from my mom. And he ended up saying like a bunch of different things, but the one thing that he said in there with like directing or filmmaking is you gotta be nice, but you have to be stubborn because you want to be agreeable and work with everybody, but you have to know what you want and fight for it. And I was like, holy shit, that was actually really good advice.
And the whole great experience is just seeing a premiere, full theater.
Tommy, he was so generous.
Yes.
He seemed like a legitimately like really nice guy. And because we talked to him before the movie, I actually gave him a copy of my movie and he was asking legitimate questions about it.
Awesome.
Like I handed him a copy, he asked me to sign it, and I was like, oh, okay, and he asked me, so what is it? And I said, oh, it's my movie. And he goes, okay, but what is it about?
Right.
Like real legitimately, he asked me about that, and as I started to explain, he was actually curious, and it was the other guy that was like taking the pictures that made us leave because Tommy wanted to keep talking. So yeah, I got nothing but great things to say about him. He seemed like a great guy. What a pleasure. I absolutely loved that whole experience. It was a great experience. Would definitely recommend it. Wholeheartedly worth it. I mean, even if Tommy hadn't been there, it would have been a great experience, but Tommy being there was just like that honestly made it one of my best movie related experiences of my life, which is wild. It's such a privilege and a pleasure too to be on like the forefront of seeing this movie, being of one of a few hundred people that have seen this movie.
I was thinking that too. Like, there's maybe 100 and some people, right? Would you say
today? And then there was also the showing in California already. So I would say we're in the top, like the first like 300 or so people that have seen it.
Yeah,
and that's just so amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So it's just such a privilege and so exciting. Like it was awesome. All you need to know, spoiler free, is yes, this is another Tommy Wiseau classic worth watching. That's all you need to know. Be excited for whenever. I don't know when it's going to get a wide release, but this is every bit as enjoyable as I hoped it would be. That's your spoiler-free section. We're going to get into it now. We're just going to talk about it. So, yeah, I think a lot of people's concern was that it was going to come across as too on the nose, too self-aware. And it definitely was more self-aware. It felt like some of the things were done intentionally, and it didn't matter.
No, it all still works.
Yeah, when we meet the boxer for the first time, they're just driving along, and he's just randomly banging the shit out of a guy. We don't know why.
Like on the street.
At this point, Tommy and not Georgie, the other one, Tim, are driving along, and they're drunk already, and they see it happening, so they jump out to stop him. And Tim gets out first, and he's breaking up the fight, and then Tommy Wiseau just kind of wanders over with 2 beers, and they're like, "Oh, hey, man," and he just fist bumps him, which was already funny. But then what he ends up doing is he goes, "Here you go," and he hands him a beer, and the guy goes, "Oh, thanks, man." And like, that was on purpose. That had to be funny on purpose, and it was.
The guy who was beaten up apparently had a leg injury because he walked away. He was like waddling, like his leg was broken.
And they were pointing and laughing at him, which was, once again, that was funny on purpose. Because that was really funny. There weren't as many, like, memorable lines, I will say.
Yeah.
And so for that, I would say this movie wasn't as enjoyable as The Room, but I mean, it's hard to live up to that. I wasn't disappointed at all because I didn't expect it to be as good as The Room. I really didn't. And so it's like, there was very few lines in it that I was like, there was no, "You're tearing me apart, Lisa." They got close a couple times, but it was really just moments in the second half. Like, it was funny, like, they weren't swearing at all for, like, the first half.
Just one
at one point, he said, holy shnikey, and then randomly, like, in the last 30 minutes, they're like, we gotta kill that bitch. Talking about the shark. There are a lot of great lines. Yeah. I know there's not as many as The Room, I said that.
Occupy my mind, man.
Occupy my mind, you've got a delusional mind. They say these things so many times. Yeah. Also, we're trying to rest in peace. And then there's a different point in time where they're like, Georgie's the name of the guy who died, and he's like, we gotta do it. We gotta do it for Georgie. I miss Georgie so much. And Tommy goes, yeah. They're calling on speaker, and so they're talking. So it's the 2 girls and the 2 guys. And then the other guy, his friend, goes like, we love you, babies. It was just like, that's not how humans talk. There's so many great, amazing inconsistencies too. So once again, they're getting the awards, and Tommy Wiseau starts to put on his gloves and then like quickly stops himself, and then the next shot he's wearing his gloves. And then okay, so they've got these diving suits, and they get there, and the one guy just throws his flashlight away for no reason. And then they're in the water, and he has his flashlight. Also, the next time they go there, they're getting ready to get into the water, and he's already soaking wet, like dripping. Yeah. I was just, it's amazing. It's so amazing, dude. Also, they're supposedly going to the same place where Georgie died, but it's a completely different location now, because it was like a beach before, and now it's like a dock with like, you know, trees and weed coming out of the water. And they're like, all right, we're following the tracker, and they follow it, and they're like, all right, we're right there. And they're literally 50 feet away from the dock. And you're like, you did a circle. They finally do stab it with the tracker, and he's on land when he does it, because the shark is on land more often than he's in water. Yeah. And then when the next time we see the guy with the tracker, he's running in from the water. And you're like, but you stabbed him over on the beach. Yeah. How did that happen? Georgie guy started just randomly having really good lines right before he died.
Yeah, he turned into like a great character for like a scene and a half and then died.
Yeah.
I feel like my heart's gonna explode.
Yeah, just randomly says that. And he's supposed to be drunk, but he's just making no sense. Like, there's randomly this hot girl all over him, but he's like, no, leave me alone, get off me. I don't care about you anymore. Yeah. His other line that I loved was, so they go down and they find shark eggs. And he goes, there's shark eggs. He goes, don't touch them. They could be contaminated.
Yeah, that was George again.
What?
Yeah.
With what? They're not entertaining because you understand the thought process.
Yeah.
What makes them entertaining is you go like, how did we get here? Yeah. Why did we make this decision? Like, that's why, like, in one of my favorite moments in film history is in Troll 2. The witch comes to the camper van, and she pulls out a corn on the cob, and he goes, well, actually, I like popcorn. And it's just like utter confusion as to why that ever happened. Yeah. And so it's like, that's, once again, like, The Room that is the entirety of The Room. But that was still also just as much the entirety of this movie, where you're like, I'm genuinely curious how we got to this point. Dude, I loved today. Today was great. Yeah. 10 out of 10. We'll do again. It's definitely worth a watch. Definitely lives up to The Room. Like, it is a faithful successor in every way.
Yes.
20 years in the making.
Yeah.
The Room came out 20 years ago.
Insane.
So, yeah, it's about time we got something else from Tommy that he was the driving force behind. Like, he's acted in other things. He was the creator of that TV show. But this is Tommy Wiseau. And as he had one of the actresses there. Yeah. And what she said is, like, it was just so much fun to, like, have a guy that had an idea for what he wanted every day on set. And, you know, that, yeah. So, anyway, a lot of fun. Don't know when it'll be available to the public, but jump at any opportunity you have to see it, because it's so much fun, especially if he's going to be there or there's going to be a large crowd. Please just go.
And if you haven't seen The Room, see The Room.
If you haven't, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Why are you watching this
20 years? Yeah. Why would you care about Big Shark? That was the funny thing. We were in line, and people were like, oh, there's a movie premiering tonight. And we're like, yeah, Big Shark. And they're like, what's that? And I'm like, do you know who Tommy Wiseau is? And they're like, no. I'm like, then you won't care. All right. That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you're new here. Bye.
Bye.